Now, as we do so many weeks here at the Daily Dose, we need to get to our Daily Dose top 5. Hey, 2021 was a rough year at times, but it was a little better than 2020. We did start to see some returns to like normalcy in the world, but then, here at the end, people have started freaking out about COVID again. And as you saw from the podcast today, we lost some tremendous people in 2021. However, we have learned that in life, there are two ways that you can go through it. You can either complain about all the bad things, or you can realize things could always be much, much worse. And so it is in 2021. Yeah, 2021 was rough at times. But as our Daily Dose Top 5 is going to show you today, it could have been much, much worse. Let's start off at number 5. And I will be the first to admit, I am not the biggest Hollywood fan. And more specifically, Hollywood sports movies are really, really awful. They're always so corny. They always take what is an amazing story and they feel the need to make it like ridiculous. A kid can't just be taken in by a family and then become an NFL player. The mom has to teach him how to play football. A coach can't just take the smallest school ever to win a single class state basketball title in Indiana. There has to be some sort of cheesy forced love interest that makes your skin just crawl. And an unlikely small-time fighter, he can't just shock everyone by giving the heavyweight champion of the world all he wants in a big fight. He has to go further and avenge his friend's death and box like a Russian robot, just go off the edge of any sort of reality. Then, I guess he started raising his dead friend's kid, teaching him how to fight. Well, I don't want to watch any of that stuff. I'd rather watch documentaries about sports. I thought, originally, the Rocky movies were good when they started, but then they kind of went off the rails about 1983. So I am certainly glad that we did not get yet another Rocky movie in 2021, especially with all the streaming and all the video services that are out there. It would have been everywhere. No thanks. I'd rather watch the celebrity fights than that. And I don't watch any of those. So Rocky is, needless to say, pretty low on my priority list. But the fact that we didn't have another Rocky movie, yeah, that comes in today at number 5. We move next to number 4. And we know there are some weird things that have gone on in the world in these last couple of years. We all have COVID brains. Things are split politically. Everyone is angry and screaming and just lawless. Oh, and by the way, there might also be aliens. Did we mention that? Because after years and years, Washington is kind of admitting, hey, there might be some things we don't know about. There might be some aliens or something out there. We're not really sure. Now, a lot of people are going to look at that and say, well, that just proves the White House knows about aliens. I actually look at it and say, no, that just proves the White House doesn't want us to know that they have some things they're working on that would blow our minds. But imagine if actual aliens had surfaced in 21. That might have been worse. And imagine if when they had arrived, they went to Brooklyn and they picked up Kyrie Irving and then began bombing the planet. Yeah, that would have been way, way worse. We all kind of suspect Kyrie Irving is just planted here on Earth by another species. And then we would have had proof and it would be too late. Finding out Kyrie Irving is a spy for the aliens, that comes in today at number 4 on ways the year could have been much, much worse. We arrive at number 3. And even though we were all trying to be careful in 21, we were getting our boosters, we're wearing our masks, we did start to get back to having a social life a little in 2021. We started to see more family. We started to have more get-togethers, just go out a little more in general. Sure, the virus still existed, but we were starting to come back more and more. We started to go out, maybe go to a party, maybe go to a movie, maybe have a few drinks with friends or family, and then you don't want to drive home because, that's irresponsible. So we call for an Uber, we call for a Lyft, come pick us up and take us home safely. And we get home, safe and sound. But in 2021, if you had called for your Uber or your Lyft, and your car shows up, and it's a 2021 Genesis GV80 SUV, and when you get in, you notice Tiger Woods is your driver, yeah, your 2021 might have gone way, way worse because he is not the best guy behind the wheel. And that comes in at number 3. We are now at the number 2 way that for as tough as 2021 may have been, trust us, It could have been much, much worse. And we think back to the 2021 NBA season. The Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns met in the NBA Finals, and ratings again were pretty poor. And we have seen a steady decline of TV ratings for the NBA Finals. Going back to 2015, when the Golden State Warriors beat the Cleveland Cavaliers, the ratings were around 20 million fans per game. They rose slightly in 2016. They dropped a little in 17. They dropped a little in 18. But they were still going strong. They were still at 17 million. A little drop, but still strong. But compare that to 2019, when the Toronto Raptors and Golden State Warriors only drew an average of 15 million. And then the bottom really fell out. Because when the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Miami Heat in 2020 in the finals, the NBA Finals averaged just 7 million viewers per game. Well, this past finals featured the Bucks and the Suns. It went up to 9 million per game. But imagine if LeBron James and the Lakers had somehow made it to the finals this past year. The ratings might have been even worse. Even worse than 2020. A small market team in Milwaukee playing a player and team that so many people hate. Yeah, we're probably pretty lucky the Lakers got knocked out in the first round of the NBA playoffs. And that comes in today at number 2. So we reached the number 1 entry on our list of ways that 2021 could have been far, far worse. And we know in this world, celebrities have no conscience. They like to tell us how we should be living while simultaneously not doing any of the things they tell us to do. Go watch an award show and listen to the Hollywood glitterati tell us, hey, you need to be recycling, you're killing the planet. Meanwhile, they just hopped off of a full-size private jet with just them and 2 friends. And they were the only passengers on board. Well, we also know celebrities will hawk anything. Madonna promoted Pepsi. She's never drinking a Pepsi in her life. Justin Bieber sold nail polish. Make of that what you will. And Gwyneth Paltrow even currently sells a candle that smells like her vagina. I wish I were joking. Well, sports stars are just as bad. From O.J. Simpson doing commercials for Hertz, Kobe Bryant promoting McDonald's, George Foreman sold his grills. Sports personalities are always looking for ways to make some extra money. The whole name and likeness thing in college is built entirely around that. But what if in 2021 we had even worse examples? What if sports figures were trying to sell things like celebrities do? What if Sean Kemp was selling birth control? What if LeBron James was selling Brill cream? That would just be weird. But imagine how much worse 2021 would have been if NFL quarterback Tom Brady was on your TV every day selling, his own vagina-scented candle. Okay, YouTube, be sure that you go out and you check out the rest of the podcast. This week on The Dose, we are actually taking a look back at some of the biggest sports figures we lost in 2021. And it isn't a show of mourning or anything, but trust me, with the news organizations running the way they do right now, there are a lot of people we lost in 2021 you probably didn't even realize. So be sure you go over and you check out the full podcast this week. I will leave a link here in the comments on YouTube for you. Hope you all are doing well. Hope you had a great holiday. I will see you all next Wednesday. Have a great week and have a very safe and a very happy New Year.